Hello, Jill Allen. How are you doing today?
Hello, Eugene Bigay. I'm doing just dandy. How are you?
Good. And what do you do at Dorothy's place?
I am the Resource Development Director. I'm the one that goes around and finds the money and the materials that it takes to keep the doors open at Dorothy's place and to provide as good a service for our guests as we can.
And how are things going? Are you getting enough finances or what?
Well, actually, no, we're not. It's kind of a lean year. I hear it's the same way for a lot of other nonprofit organizations. We know that our giving will pick up shortly as we come into the holiday season, so we're hopeful that it's going to overcome the poor performance that we've had earlier this year.
Okay, and what kind of a shortfall are you looking at?
I really don't know what to tell you. I'm less into the finance end of the organization now as I am into the resource development. So I really don't know what to tell you in terms of what the shortfall is right now.
No approximate? Okay. All right. You and I were talking previous. Now, you said you were going to get some funding for a project that you have going on at Dorothy's place about nutrition. Can you elaborate on that?
I would love to elaborate on that. This is a project that we wanted to do for a couple of reasons. Number one was we wanted to see if we did some food and nutrition education with our guests, and we offered them healthier choices for their meals, whether their management of their chronic illnesses would improve. In other words, if we took away some of the cakes and cookies and replaced it with fruits and salads and good nutritious foods, and they actually ate that way, would it be easier to manage obesity, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, COPD, diabetes, things like that?
Most of them with raw food diets you can reverse in 28 days.
That's what we've heard. That's what we've heard. Now, I'm not sure that we could actually do a raw food diet starting out because we would have to make sure we had a good balance of protein and minerals. But that's what we're striving for. We're striving to get better at serving meals and not just accepting what comes through the door as a donation. We get a lot of day-old baked goods donated, which means a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of sugar, too much salt, and we serve them because a lot of people look at that as comfort food. And they're going through some anxiety and some hardship on the street, so it's hard to take the comfort food away. But at the same time, we see a lot of people coming to us for months at a time eating at Dorothy's Kitchen, and we need to be able to provide a better opportunity for them to eat more healthy. And we have gotten that funded.
And where did the funding come from?
The funding has come from the Hardin Foundation, which is a local community foundation, and from the United Way of Monterey County.
And what was the size of the grant?
I believe the Hardin Foundation funding was $25,000, and they added an additional $1,250 to purchase the software that we need to be able to track the results. And the United Way, it was a combined grant with some other things, and it was a $35,000 grant, but it doesn't all go toward this project. And as a matter of fact, neither does the Hardin Foundation grant. It goes toward serving meals in the kitchen, but also to fund this project.
Does any of it go toward the Culinary Institute that you're trying to get established?
No, neither one of those grants goes towards the Red Artichoke Culinary School.
Are you still striving for that, or what?
We're still looking for that, but frankly, because of it being a poor funding year, I'm concentrating more on funding our regular operation instead of funding new programs, and Red Artichoke is a new program. However, we believe that we have found a person that is considering becoming the manager of the Red Artichoke program, perhaps starting out as a volunteer and then working into a paid position. And so we are hopeful that that will be something that will happen in the new year.
It sounds good. Mm-hmm. So when do you plan on starting to institute this? And
the Healthy Meals program?
Yeah.
The Healthy Meals program kind of depends on how quickly we can get the evaluation tools in place. I've had discussions with Tiffany DiTullio at Salinas Valley Memorial about food education. We also have some local supporters of Dorothy's Place that are professional dietitians and food instructors. But what we really need to have is something where we can record individual progress. So the idea was to, for the participants in the program, and we're thinking about initially doing 50 participants in the program. So that's about a fifth of the meals that we serve every day. And they would be issued a program identification card. So when they came through the meal line, they would swipe their program identification card that would pull up their record on the screen for us. And as they went through the lunch line and picked their selections, we would note that using point of sale software on the screen, and that would give us enough information to be able to evaluate what they're actually eating. And then, of course, there's the pre-test and the post-test component where we would ask somebody coming in maybe 6 or 7 questions about, why are you participating in the program? What are the chronic illnesses that you're trying to manage? What specifically do you think you need help with? Do you realize that healthy eating might be able to help you manage those conditions better? And then at the end of 6 months of involvement, we basically come back to them and say the same thing all over again and see what the difference in the reply is. That indicates the level of improvement that has taken place. And then if we continue for another 6 months, and we do that again and see if there's a better level of improvement. So someone who's trying to lose weight might say, yes, I've been eating more fruits and vegetables, and in the last 6 months I've lost 23 pounds. Okay? That's a success for that particular person. A person who is managing COPD might be concerned about their blood pressure. And, we might, take down those notes and give them some education on which foods are best for them to manage high blood pressure and what foods to avoid when they're trying to manage high blood pressure, and then see if that has an effect on their blood pressure and their COPD.
And how does one get involved with the program?
You basically come to me and indicate an interest. So, you can call me, text me, email me, or just find me over at Dorothy's Place and say that you have an interest. What we're still trying to do is to get the point of sale software and the computer equipment installed in the kitchen so that we can start this. And our volunteer coordinator, Catherine Tran, is currently looking for volunteers that can help us record the results in the lunchtime. They would volunteer their time to observe what the program participants are selecting out of the lunch line and record that.
I'd like to get involved with that.
We'd love to have you.
Okay. Myself as a cross-country roller skater, I'm very concerned about my own health.
Sure.
And I haven't been making great choices at Dorothy's.
And there probably haven't been a whole lot of great choices to make sometimes.
No.
I mean, I also have a very restrictive diet, and I have to, wherever I go, pick and choose what I can eat. And sometimes it's very discouraging when you go someplace and there's a whole bunch of stuff there that looks great, but it's just not what you can eat. So that's what we're trying to do is contact growers and stores that can donate the right kinds of food and get a steady supply of that, because the last thing we want to do is start the program and let the program participants down by not having enough of what we need, to provide for them. There's a lot of speculation these days that the reason there is such an increase in chronic illnesses and cancer is because of the way we grow our food. And the lack of the proper elements I'm trying to say this very inarticulately because I'm not an expert in this, but there needs apparently to be a proper balance of organic materials in the soil for food to grow properly. There needs to be the proper trace elements that a plant can pick up on. And the only way that happens is to grow in a purely organic style and still be mindful of what nutrients are in the soil. And that even though the foods that we see in the grocery store look good, a carrot is orange and looks like a carrot, lettuce is green, looks like lettuce, it is incomplete. And it also, in addition to being incomplete, not having all the trace vitamins and minerals that it needs to have, that it contains a lot of toxins from the fertilizers and the pesticides that are necessary for big commercial farming. And that we're so used to that. We're so used to the fact that our food doesn't have the flavor that it used to have. We're used to the fact that, this is the way it is, and it's not going to change. And we've been eating the same food day after day, year after year, year after year, year after year, and that's what is giving us the problem. The animals that we eat are eating the same plants, the same inadequate plants, and we're, getting all of that malnutrition out of the inorganically grown beef, chicken, turkey, even fish. Fish are farmed now as well. So I would, it's not that we can make a light year move to organic food and organic cooking over at Dorothy's place, but I think because we have a fairly controlled environment, it is a place to start. You never know. Before long, our very poor and homeless guests could be eating better than mainstream America.